Hi, hello, and today in this video I will be designing a character. Last video, the audio was okay. I'm giving myself too much credit. It was pretty bad. I went through and watched it because I was like, why does this video doing so bad? But I did fix the adapter to go into my mic. I got a new one, so hopefully there won't be any more really atrocious audio. I'm so sorry about that. I don't even know what that whistling was. I'd like to say I know what it is, but I actually genuinely have no clue. But for today's video, I looked at my metrics. I usually don't do that because YouTube used to be something I took a little bit more serial. But when I had fun, I still upload every week, but when I was uploading every week and I was like doing all this research and trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I was not having as much fun as I am just, oh, fuck it, let's draw Miku. I don't know if that makes any sort of sense. Also, if you're new to this video and you like the art, you should like and subscribe. If you're already subscribed, you should comment and share so other people can see this if they like this art or if they like this video. So yeah. So for this first drawing, I looked at my metrics and I saw what people were doing, and a lot of it was like character design, like designing characters. So that's exactly what I decided to do. I've had a joke character for a while now that I've been wanting to mess around with, and so I did. Essentially, what I did is, this character has existed, and the only reason that she exists is because of the stupid, the thing that was on TikTok for so long, that was like, cherry blossom iced tea, and then cherry blossom iced, yeah. I basically made a very, extremely pink, I never drew her, but the idea was that she was just pink, impersonated, and she was really tiny, and she was this tiny pink dragon character that was raised by two millennial dads. I can't believe I'm saying that. And because there are things that I find very funny and with character designs, and one of the big ones that I really truly find hilarious is when people when somebody way older or younger essentially kind of uses the wrong language for their age range. I'm not sure if that makes any amount of sense, but I guess it's like a 30 no, it's like somebody who's 40 years old saying skibbity. It makes me cringe, but it's also hilarious to me personally. And essentially that was the vibe of somebody like the language that used to be around in 2016, like doggo, and I'm trying to think of other ones other than doggo, but basically words like that, and that's 100% of the time how she talked. That was the basis of this character. Okay. Which, that was essentially the joke, was, oh, look at this, it's someone who's millennial using non-millennial language. I don't know if that makes any sort of sense. Or not millennial language, but that time period very specifically, and not basically, because I have another dragon character who's like that, but it's more within the lore. So she mentions things like, oh, that great war really sucked, guys. That great war was 150 years ago. Oh, I thought that was still relevant. But this is more like me being dumb. Oh, what the dog? It's like doggo, and yeah, just dumb things like that are just kind of great for the sake of, I don't know if comedy is the right word. I just think it's silly. But for this, I wanted to redesign this character partially because the only thing that she had was being pink, and I was like, there has to be more. And then I kept on seeing iridescent things, and I was like, what if she's pink and iridescent? So she's pink and iridescent. She also was more of a fluffy dragon with a more bird-like dragon than you're like just like normal scaly, or even like a fluffy dragon. Like my Sona is just a fluffy dragon. Hers is more of a, for realsies, actually bird dragon. I really like how I drew the wings for this. I also like to imagine that her horns and her little horns on the wings, I do not know what they're called. I just like adding them to like wings when they're not just bird. They're clear and they look like they're not glass, but they look like they're made out of glass, and iridescent glass, or like that iridescent clear plastic. It's not really conveyed very well. I need to probably practice on that. But that was the idea for the horns and the wing horns. For the rest of this, I wanted to try a new way of rendering for this drawing when I figured out what I wanted for her character, which I've been drawing a lot of characters that look like this recently. I got called out on it. I can't help it, man. I like iridescence, and it's really easy for me to render darker colors. For me, it's more of a challenge rendering lighter skin tones than darker skin tones, because the way I render, because I render off of a black, which means using like a dark red versus a bright red. There's like a difference in what's easier or not. But with this gray hack, I might have found a way to do it without like it looking weird or like me not liking it, because I really enjoyed how this looked rendered off the gray. I didn't think it desaturated it that bad, because I'm also trying to figure out why my colors look so desaturated. I know why, but it's also like, how do I get the effect I want without desaturating it? And that's what I'm trying to figure out right now, because I thought, oh, I could just render in black and white and then color over it, but whenever I color over it, it doesn't look right, and I don't know why it doesn't look right. But yeah, I digress. That's a conversation for a different day. But I had a fun time, because this is more of a sketch, but I also want to try rendering more like this. I like the gray because it's a good mid-tone. It's not pitch black, so like this actually looks pretty decent. Or not decent, because the black I think it looks good. It just takes a lot of the color and lightness out of a given color, which makes it harder to render. I think that's because I like having a challenge when I draw. I want it to be easy, but I want it to be challenging enough, if that makes sense. I just don't like drawing the same easy thing over and over again. It gets repetitive. I think that's why I quit drawing character sheets so much for redesigns. I think that's why I quit doing redesigns, because it got so repetitive. Drawing, body, line art, colors, bam. It did become a little bit repetitive over time, and I wanted to just do something different. Now I guess that's why I'm doing like whatever videos, or oh, let's do this, or oh, let's design that. I also just wanted to design this character for the sake of fleshing it out, because I'm playing in a Baldur's Gate a Baldur's Gate game with a friend of mine, and so this character, not against my will, but this character is getting fleshed out throughout this Baldur's Gate run, because I'm sitting there, right, and I'm like choosing a dialogue, and I'm like, what would Cherry Blossom Iced Tea have to say about? Which I did give her a real name. Her real name is Arietta, because I could not look at this character and just go, yeah, that's your name. Your name is Cherry Blossom Iced Tea. I couldn't like seriously do it, so I gave her a real name. But essentially, that's how this character got more fleshed out. She also, and like who I was gonna romance, because that's like a whole aspect of the story. Like to like romance a character and like seeing their little lives. Obviously, even if you're like good friends with them, you still get into a little life. But I'm doing Shadowheart because I liked how different they looked. I was like, oh my god, opposite girly, let's fucking go. So yeah, another thing I actually really liked about this piece was her eyes. It's really hard to tell in the video, but her eyes are like a pale neon pink, and the whites are like the white of her eyes is like a pale neon pink, almost a purpley pink, or I don't know if pale and neon go together. Anyway, it looks neon, but it's pale. I don't know how to explain that. like a neon pink t-shirt that sat in the sun too long. That was the color I was going for. And then the eyes are actually like neon pink, and I think it gives her like this kind of washed out like look. Not like washed out in a good big bad way, but washed out in a good way. Ethereal. She's otherworldly. Because usually I don't like, I mean, I like different colored scaleras, but it depends on the type of character. And this kind of character that's so light, I wouldn't give different colored scaleras. Or I don't know if I'm using the right word. The whites of the eyes, I wouldn't give a different color. But for this character, it really worked out because it just makes her look like she's otherworldly. And I really like that look. For all the characters I've been drawing recently, I love making them freaky little weird, like, aliens. When they're not aliens, I love, like, that, like, I love making characters look like they're just otherworldly, like they're from, like for fantasy, like they're from the Fae, like the Feywilds. And then for Stella, whenever I draw her recently, I've been trying to make her look more like an actual doll, and like she's like otherworldly but not really, because I love the otherworldly look. I think it's really beautiful. I'm not sure because I don't know how else to verbalize the look I really enjoy. If I'm gonna be honest, I want to go back in time and redesign some of my characters with that in mind, especially my aliens, Kata and everybody, because I really want to redesign them on what they would look like with how I draw and my new kind of aesthetic preferences, even though I haven't drawn like any sort of cyberpunk things in quite some time. But yeah,